Today I'm going to be taking a look at The Big Bang Theory, Season 2, Episode 16, The Cushion Saturation. This episode is titled this way because in this episode, Penny commits a major party foul and soils Sheldon's spot by shooting it with a paintball gun. That is a big problem, and that is not going to go over well with Sheldon. And paintball is where the episode starts out. Leonard, Sheldon, Raj, and Howard are participating in an interdepartmental paintball game, and they go into a shed to seek cover when they try to come up with a strategy on how to continue forward. They decide that Howard will stay in the shed, giving them cover, and the rest of them will storm forward. While Howard's waiting alone in the shed, Leslie Winkle comes in, and they begin talking, and eventually they decide that they are going to hook up in the shed during the paintball game. Later at the university, they're having lunch, and they're discussing the fact that their budgets have all been cut. However, Leslie Winkle comes in and notes that she was able to procure Howard a very expensive piece of equipment.
Scratch my back, I scratch yours.
And Howard takes this opportunity to reveal that he is now sleeping with Leslie Winkle, starting a relationship with her, and it would seem because of this she's favoring him in budgetary situations. Back at Leonard and Sheldon's apartment, Leonard is trying to help Penny fix her computer. It froze while she was shopping for some shoes, and Sheldon comes in and tells Penny to get out of his spot. She does, and Sheldon leaves the room. She notices Leonard's paintball gun, picks it up, and accidentally discharges it onto the cushion of the couch, which is Sheldon's spot. Now, Sheldon had just got done telling Penny how important his spot is to him.
That is my spot. In an ever-changing world, it is a single point of consistency.
So you know this is going to be a source of trouble. We next see Howard and Leslie in Howard's room, so we see that they are together again, and it was not a one-time occurrence. Which is an interesting note because with Leonard at one point she was just looking for a one-time physical interaction. Howard and Leslie are an interesting pairing. It doesn't seem to me, based on what we've seen from Leslie in the past, that Howard's the kind of person that she would tolerate or seek a relationship with, but it does make for some interesting moments here. Interestingly enough, Howard got a girl without being completely creepy and trying to use one of his pickup lines, which is probably why it happened. It seems like Leslie more have picked him up. Back at Leonard and Sheldon's apartment, Leonard is trying very hard to clean up the cushion, which is completely unsuccessful as there's still a large green paint stain right in the middle of the cushion. Penny says, "What are we going to tell Sheldon?" And Leonard notes that they had a chance of being away for the last year and a half. Right now in this situation, she is she, and she is in trouble with Sheldon.
Right now, you are you, and you are screwed.
Penny comes up with a hopeful plan of flipping the cushion over and hoping that Sheldon won't notice. Leonard notes that there's no butt print on the cushion, which Penny sits on to leave one, and Leonard says that it's too perfect, which Penny takes very flatteringly. Sheldon returns to the apartment and tries to sit down to read a comic book, but he immediately notices that something is off.
It doesn't feel right.
And he wiggles around on the cushion, and he eventually flips it over and notices the paint stain, and Leonard immediately throws Penny right under their bus and says that she did it. In the next scene, everyone is having dinner in the apartment, and Sheldon is very distressed because his cushion is gone out to the cleaners, and he has nowhere to sit. Leonard tells him just to sit in his desk chair, and he says he doesn't eat in his desk chair, he works in his desk chair, and he eats in his spot. He also tries to note that he doesn't work in his spot, although we have seen Sheldon doing work in other episodes sitting in his spot. For example, in the Cooper-Nowitzki Theorem, Season 2, Episode 6, Sheldon was sitting in his spot while she was working on his feet, and he was doing work. Howard tries to remedy the situation by taking the cushion that Raj is sitting on and putting it on Sheldon's side, but Sheldon knows that this still isn't his spot. Penny asks Sheldon, foolishly, if he could be a little bit flexible for the week while the cushion is being cleaned, and he gives her a stare, as does everybody else, because everybody knows that Sheldon is not flexible. Howard gets a call from Leslie Winkle, and it appears he's going to be having a date with her that night, or at least sleeping together, which she notes, and Penny gives a pretty funny statement.
Hey, baby.
His right hand is calling him.
Because to her, it must be pretty unbelievable to think that Howard has a girlfriend. Howard says he's got to go, and they said they were going to play Halo, but he says he has to go be with Leslie. Understandable. He also notes that Leslie pulled some strings and got him on the trip to Geneva to see the CERN Super Collider, making everybody else upset because it seems like his relationship with Leslie is yielding some more professional benefits. However, Howard soon learns that this arrangement with Leslie is not all to his benefit. She asks him to go to a wedding after they had slept together again, and he says he doesn't want to go, and she tells him if he doesn't go, basically, he is not going to go on that trip to Switzerland. Howard says this kind of makes him uncomfortable, but Leslie says if she wasn't controlling him, it would make her uncomfortable, and he not so reluctantly agrees because he doesn't want to give up what he currently has going on with Leslie. It may be dysfunctional, which would seem pretty normal for Howard, but it's more success than he's had so far in the series. We next see Sheldon back at the apartment, crouching in his spot without the cushion. Leonard asks him why he's doing it, and he says that that is still his spot. Luckily, Penny arrives with the cushion now cleaned, and she gives it back to Sheldon. He puts it down, sits on it, and stands up immediately saying, nope, he still doesn't feel right. So Leonard has to take action. He tells Sheldon that the cashew chicken he gets him every Monday that he thinks comes from Szechuan Palace actually comes from the Golden Dragon. Sheldon takes this pretty shockingly and says, what about the Szechuan Palace containers? And Leonard says when they closed 2 years ago, he bought 4,000 containers from them and keeps them in his car. This shocks Sheldon, and so he slumps down into his seat, seemingly forgetting the problem, until a few moments later when he notes that he still doesn't like the seat. But at least he's accepted it for the moment. And we close the episode back on the paintball field. The team has now plus Penny volunteering after Leonard bought her some shoes. They make a plan that basically everybody else will act as a distraction, and Penny will run out at the last moment and kill everyone. However, Sheldon decides to take this moment to take some revenge for his cushion, and he shoots Penny.
That was for my cushion.
This leads to Penny shooting Sheldon. He says she can't do that because she's dead, so Leonard shoots Sheldon. And then Sheldon says if we're going to descend into madness, well, let's do this, and he shoots Leonard as well. This leaves just Raj, Howard, and Leslie still alive in the game, and so they say they're going to walk out, surrender, and then go to Denny's. This is a very good episode. It has a lot of noteworthy moments. The seemingly impossible happened, and Howard has achieved some level of a girlfriend, while Leslie says she's not into the emotions and all of that. They are sleeping with each other, and they are seeing each other on a regular basis. And in different ways, they are both mutually benefiting from the relationship. And Sheldon Spot, poor Sheldon Spot, gets taken out in this episode, and Sheldon is very upset about it. I think it's very important that it was Penny who damaged the Spot. I feel like it would have been a different reaction if it had been somebody else. Leonard was willing to throw Penny under the bus. He was not willing to take the blame for this one. Who knows, there could be something in their roommate agreement regarding cushion desecration. Now, by the end of this episode, Sheldon is still very upset about the cushion, and he's willing to throw away the paintball game by killing Penny. We do know, of course, that in the long run, Sheldon does get over it, as he does not stop referencing his spot after this point. He goes back to normal, and it's still his spot. He doesn't want anybody else sitting in it. So after this episode, things kind of do return to normal. We don't know how long that takes, but by the next episode, it's not referenced any further. All in all, I think this is a very good episode. I would score it at an 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on this section in the comments section. What do you think of the pairing of Leslie Winkle and Howard in a relationship? And what are your thoughts on Sheldon's fascination with his spot on the couch? Please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and keep an eye out for the next video coming soon.